I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
Okay, so she come out, made that statement.
Last year, you made a powerful statement saying the reason people are watching women's basketball is not just because of one player, but because of you two. A year later, do you feel like you're
Next question.
Yeah, we'll move on. Thank you.
Or do you feel like you're
Next question.
Yeah.
Okay, so next question. Now, keep in mind, whoever asked this, and there's people clowning the person that asked this.
Angel Reese is the most unskilled basketball player in the history of basketball, in my opinion. She has no skills.
They're calling Angel Reese the most unskilled player in WNBA history, and not just behind closed doors. Her game is being torn apart, with critics saying she brings nothing but energy and empty rebounds to the court. But that's just the beginning, because what happens next pulls in Dajon Carrington, league culture, and a silent threat that's changing everything.
Of videos involving Angel Reese working on layups. Now, look, the layup issue is a real issue for Angel Reese, and I don't understand the taking all the... I mean, yeah, sure, you can practice 2-point shots just inside.
What do you get when you take a sport already struggling for mainstream traction and water it down even further? You get unrivaled, a flashy, influencer-driven 3-on-3 women's basketball league that's trying to sell chaos as entertainment. They claim it's revolutionary. In reality, it's a gimmick wrapped in glitter, masking the fact that some of these players couldn't shine in the WNBA and needed a new spotlight.
Has an easy layup and throws it to the girl behind her.
It's unselfish.
That's
unselfish. Come on.
That she don't want that smoke, Steve. She wants nothing to do with having to shoot the basketball. And I give her credit. It's self-awareness. Play the clip one more time while Steve's talking.
Well, look, every time I see stuff like this, it just shows me Charleston White made...
This isn't basketball reimagined, it's basketball reduced. The whole thing screams desperation. Instead of fixing real issues in the women's game, like skill development, team fundamentals, and visibility, they tossed out the rulebook and said, let's just go viral. But here's the truth. People barely tune in for professional 5-on-5 games, so who really asked for a pickup game with Instagram captions?
People are pulling up to games. We got celebrities coming to games, sold out arenas, like just because of one single game. And just looking at that, like, I'll take that role. I'll take the bad guy role, and I'll continue to take that on and be that for my teammates. And if I want to be that, and I know I'll go down in history, I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we watching women's basketball is not just because of one person. It's because of me too, and I want y'all to realize that.
And look at who they're pushing as the faces of this league. Players who, by all measurable standards, have underperformed at the pro level. Instead of earning respect through gameplay, they're building brands off drama, social media stunts, and clickbait moments. It's not about winning. It's about staying relevant, no matter the cost.
This was Reese and Collier. Like a reach in there from Reese. A little bit of a shove there from Reese, and Collier tries to shove her back but doesn't get back in time. Did that go? That did go. So you see that play.
Now ask yourself, how can a league grow when its top stars treat the court like a runway? The moment a player gets the ball on a breakaway and immediately throws it behind her instead of going for an open layup, that's not unselfishness. That's fear. That's someone who doesn't want the pressure, doesn't want the smoke, doesn't even believe in their own game. And the crowd is supposed to pretend this is elite competition? Let's be real, unrivaled doesn't elevate women's basketball. It turns it into a spectacle for the wrong reason. Every airball, every forced celebration, every politically charged stunt further isolates fans who just want to see real basketball. Instead, we get attitude over ability, hype over hustle, and the worst part? The league acts like we're the problem for not buying in.
I think it is a deal that is eventually going to get her benched in the WNBA. I think that will happen one day, because a good coach, if she ever gets one...
This culture, where clout trumps performance, isn't just hurting the players' reputations. It's poisoning the entire sport. Players like Angel Reese, who made headlines off antics and social media more than any stat sheet, are now being sold to us as the future. But ask yourself, if your star is scared to shoot, what exactly are we watching? And what happened next would only prove that even the players themselves know this isn't about basketball anymore. If you're tired of fake hype and want to hear what no one else is willing to say, subscribe. We break the filters, not the truth.
We can say she played a great game, but rebounding, getting second chance points, yeah. But she's so limited offensively. She's on her left side, but they never let her go.
Let's not sugarcoat it. Angel Reese isn't just struggling. She's becoming the face of everything wrong with modern hype culture in women's basketball. And while the media keeps spinning her into a hero, the truth is louder than the applause. She might be the most unskilled player to ever be called a star. Sure, she can rebound. No one's denying that. But rebounding alone doesn't make you elite. That's effort, not execution. That's hustle, not talent. Strip that away, and what's left? A player with no jumper, no post moves, no handle, and no offensive threat. And even more alarming, she knows it. You can see it in how quickly she dumps the ball off, and how she avoids taking open shots, and how she disappears in big moments when her team actually needs her.
She has energy, she has an attitude, she'll rebound you the basketball. Great. Nothing else. She has nothing. She's got self-awareness.
And yet, she stays in the headline, not because of a killer stat line, not because she dominated the paint, but because she posted another half-dressed promo pic or dropped a vague subtweet aimed at her critics. This isn't basketball. This is branding over ball, hype over highlights. Every time she touches the ball, you can feel it. She's just trying to get rid of it. No confidence, no rhythm, just panic disguised as unselfish play. But let's be real, this isn't her playing team-first basketball. This is her doing everything possible to avoid the responsibility of being the player. That fast break where she had a wide-open layup and still passed it off to someone behind her, that wasn't teamwork. That was fear, plain and simple.
To the girl behind her.
It's unselfish.
That's
unselfish. Come on.
That she don't want that smoke, Steve. She wants nothing to do.
And somehow, she's still being pushed as the next big thing. Why? Because she fits the narrative. Loud, flashy, marketable. But none of that matters when the clock's ticking and your team is down by 6. That's when skill talks, and Angel Reese stays quiet. Even when you look at her college success, it starts to unravel. Those so-called double-doubles came mostly from being force-fed the ball in garbage time. Her teammates cleared out and fed her for rebounds and easy putbacks long after the game was decided. It wasn't dominance, it was stat padding. And that fake shine followed her into the pros, where reality hit like a brick. Because in the WNBA, you don't get hand-picked layups and highlight assists just to make a player look good. You earn your spot. You prove your value. And right now, Angel Reese is being exposed. Not by haters, not by critics, but by the game itself. But that wasn't even the worst part. Because the next moment, captured in a clip that went viral for all the wrong reasons, would leave even her biggest defenders speechless. Here's the thing, Angel Reese may not be clueless. In fact, she might be more aware than people realize. And that's not necessarily a compliment. Because when a professional athlete openly avoids doing what they were signed to do, score, defend, lead, it's not humility, it's retreat. And in Reese's case, it's her only escape. Some have started calling her a modern-day Dennis Rodman. But let's slow that comparison down. Rodman was relentless. He wasn't afraid of contact, pressure, or the moment. He played with unmatched intensity, but more importantly, he knew the game. Angel Reese? She rebounds because she has to. She avoids the ball because she wants to. That's not fearless. That's survival mode. And calling that self-awareness doesn't make it admirable, it makes it sad. Reese has boxed herself into a role where the only thing she brings to the court is energy. No jumper, no handles, no offense, just high knees, loud reactions, and desperate hustle for boards. She's not playing to win, she's playing to stay visible. Rodman made himself a cornerstone without ever needing to shoot. But he chose that path because it made his team better. Reese is doing it because she has nothing else to offer. It's the difference between a role player and a role forced on you because the rest of your game can't be trusted. And let's be honest, no one's building a championship team around that. Her teams aren't leaning on her in crunch time. They're protecting her, hiding her, making sure she doesn't get exposed under pressure. That's not a Rodman. That's a liability. A loud one, sure, but still a liability. But that's not even the biggest issue. Because the next chapter in this story proves that the WNBA might be feeding into this illusion on purpose, and what they're doing behind the scenes will leave you questioning everything. It didn't take long before people started throwing around that magic stat line, another double-double for Angel Reese. On paper, it sounds impressive. 10 points, 10 rebounds, it gives the illusion of dominance. But here's the truth they don't want you to know. Most of it is fake, staged, hand-delivered by teammates and coaches who are more concerned with headlines than wins. Watch closely and you'll see it. In the final minutes of blowout games, when the outcome's already decided, suddenly Reese gets the ball over and over again. She's fed easy looks under the rim. She chases rebounds no one else contests. Her teammates step back, defenders relax, and just like that, she racks up numbers that make the box score glow but don't actually mean a thing. This isn't strategy, it's stat padding, and the league eats it up. Because the WNBA wants stars, and Angel Reese fits the profile, loud, marketable, and always trending. Whether she plays well or not doesn't matter. What matters is that she gets those numbers next to her name so the media can run with the headline. Another double-double for Reese. But how many of those points came in clutch moments? How many of those boards turned into buckets? What's worse? Fans are catching on. They're noticing the garbage time plays, the forced assists, the soft coverage. It's not dominance, it's deception. A carefully crafted narrative built to protect someone who can't carry the weight of real expectations. It's easier to pretend she's rising than admit she's plateaued before she even took off. And if anyone dares to call it out, they're labeled a hater, a troll, a misogynist. But facts don't lie. Angel Reese's double-doubles are a house of cards, impressive from a distance, but shaky the moment you inspect the foundation. But what happens when the league builds its image around a stat line that's all smoke and mirrors? What happens when fans realize they've been sold hype over heart? The answer might already be unfolding, and the next move by the WNBA could change everything. Here's a hard truth no one wants to say out loud. Women's basketball isn't being held back by sexism or media bias. It's being dragged down by its own culture. A culture that's become more about playing victim than playing ball. And now, it's being called one of the most unlikable in all of sports, for good reason. Instead of building bridges, too many players and supporters are pointing fingers. Every critique becomes hate. Every loss becomes disrespect. It's a league where accountability gets replaced with attitude, and anyone who dares speak honestly gets labeled as toxic. This isn't empowerment, it's entitlement wrapped in hashtags and fake outrage. The worst part? It's all intentional. The victim narrative sells. Controversy gets clicks. And certain players have figured out that it's easier to cry foul than fix their game. You'll hear them talk more about being targeted or undervalued than about their shooting percentages or turnovers. Why improve when you can just blame the system and collect the sympathy points? And it's not just the players. The media plays along, scared to challenge the nonsense. They amplify every feud, twist every quote, and protect the chosen ones from criticism. It's become a closed circle of backpatting and blame shifting, where mediocrity is celebrated and honest feedback is treated like betrayal. Fans see it. They feel the arrogance, the division, the sense that this league isn't trying to connect, it's trying to control the narrative. And people are checking out because of it. Not because they hate women, but because they hate being manipulated. Because they're tired of being told they're wrong for wanting better basketball. But that wasn't the full picture. Because the next player to step into the spotlight would only make things worse, and the backlash that followed was louder than anyone expected. Just when you thought the spotlight was finally shifting back to basketball, Dajon Carrington made sure it wasn't. During a game, on the court, in uniform, she proudly wore a sweatshirt with a clear message, F Donald Trump. And just like that, the conversation left the hardwood and went straight into political chaos. Let's get one thing straight. This wasn't a protest. This wasn't a peaceful stand. This was an attention grab that pulled the league deeper into the mess it keeps trying to escape. You can't build a fan base by alienating half the country. You can't demand respect while flipping off anyone who disagrees with you. That's not brave, it's reckless. Carrington's choice wasn't just offensive, it was strategic. She knew it would go viral. She knew it would spark backlash. And she didn't care. Because controversy sells. But what she didn't seem to realize is how much damage it would do to the WNBA's image, an image that's already hanging by a thread. Instead of growing the game, she made it more divisive, more political, more exhausting to support. And before anyone tries to justify it, no, this isn't the same as a fan wearing a political shirt in the stands. This was a player, representing a team and a league, using her uniform and her platform to take a personal shot. That crosses the line. You don't see NBA players running around with F Biden stitched on their warm-ups, and if they did, you better believe the media would explode. This double standard is dangerous. It tells players that as long as their message fits the narrative, anything goes. No rules, no consequences, just outrage on demand. But fans aren't stupid. They know when the sport becomes secondary. They know when they're being lectured instead of entertained. And they're tuning out because of it. But that wasn't the final straw, because just days later, another player took it even further, and what she did made Carrington's stunt look tame by comparison. It wasn't just one player. It wasn't just one moment. What we're seeing now is a full-blown pattern, a league so caught up in outrage and image politics that it's forgotten why fans showed up in the first place. And that decision? It's costing them big time. Sponsors are watching, networks are watching, and more importantly, fans are walking away. The WNBA can't keep blaming society or marketing budgets when the league itself keeps creating the mess. They say they want growth, but how can you grow when every headline is a new controversy, a new protest, or a new middle finger to half the country? This constant stream of division isn't bold, it's bad business. Companies don't want to align with chaos. Families don't want to bring their kids to games where political slogans outshine player stats. Casual fans don't want to be shamed or lectured every time they tune in. And while the league scrambles to build hype, they're burning bridges in every direction. And here's the kicker, they think it's working. They confuse clicks with credibility, retweets with revenue. But going viral for all the wrong reasons doesn't build a legacy. It builds resentment. The league has turned itself into a stage for activism and attitude, but forgotten how to deliver basketball that keeps people coming back. This isn't about silencing voices. It's about focus, about knowing when to speak and when to play. But the current culture rewards the loudest, not the best. The drama queens over the difference maker. And in doing so, the WNBA is slowly pushing away the very fans it worked for decades to earn. But that wasn't the final blow. Because while this political firestorm rages on, one player, Caitlin Clark, is changing the game without saying a single word. And that silent contrast might be the biggest threat to the league's current direction. While the rest of the league spirals into drama and distractions, Caitlin Clark is doing something dangerous. She's staying quiet and letting her game speak. No political slogans, no petty subtweets, no victim complex, just cold-blooded basketball, night after night. And that silence? It's louder than anything else in the league right now. Clark isn't begging for attention, she's earning it. With every deep three, with every no-look pass, with every packed arena. She's not chasing clout, she's commanding respect. And that's exactly why the current culture can't stand her. Because she's a walking reminder of everything they're not: focused, disciplined, and actually delivering results. The contrast is impossible to ignore. While others scream for validation, Clark racks up numbers. While others stir up outrage, she's drawing crowds and changing the game without ever raising her voice. And that's what makes her dangerous to the system they've built. She's exposing the truth. That skill, not slogans, is what fans actually crave. It's not just fans who see it. Sponsors are lining up. TV deals are climbing. Social media buzz is hitting record highs, all because of one player who refuses to play their game. Clark isn't interested in the circus. She's building a legacy, and every step she takes forward makes the drama-driven culture look smaller, pettier, and more desperate. Now the league has a choice to make: keep propping up controversy for clicks, or finally admit what's really working. Because the Caitlin Clark effect isn't a trend, it's a wake-up call. And the more she rises, the more the rest of the league gets left behind. But even Clark's rise hasn't come without backlash, and what some of her critics are now saying publicly. It crosses a line even her toughest defenders didn't expect. If you're tired of the fake hype and want the truth no one else is willing to say, you're in the right place. We break down the drama, the facts, and the real stories behind the noise. So if you want more raw takes and fearless breakdowns, hit that subscribe button and join the ones who aren't afraid to call it like it is. See you next time.